Chapter 7. I closed our broken door as best I could, sliding to the floor. The threads of problems dangled in front of me, and I tried to think of a way to weave them into a solution. I had to go after her. And for that, I would need a horse too. Where from? I had no idea. And anyway, if anyone saw a girl out alone near the forest after what happened to Carter, they'd surely stop me. Maybe they'd already stopped Lupe. I took a deep breath. She couldn't have gone far. Not Lupe with her taffeta gowns and easy laugh crossing to the forgotten territories. Pep sauntered over, rubbing his head against my limp hand. What do I do, Pep? How do I fix this? He pawed my hand until I stroked his back, ginger fur wafting in the air. I paused and he nudged me with his head, but I watched the hairs floating until an idea started to form. It was not one that I wanted, but no others came. I stood across the kitchen where Miss Lar was asleep in her coop. Taking a knife to my bedroom, I wrapped my plait twice around my hand and pulled it taut. Then I began to saw upwards, slicing roughly. Some strands were pulled out, breaking before the knife reached them. The pain was like sparks popping against my scalp. Finally, the plait came away and fell on the floor. My head felt light, dizzying. I hacked at the longer pieces until I was left with something resembling a boy's haircut. Gabe's chest crouched in the opposite corner, and I heaved it open. A cloud of dust mushrooming as the lid banged the wall. Coughing, I dressed quickly in a faded cotton tunic and trousers, pulling a jacket over the top. They were short at the wrists and ankles. So much time had passed, inches of time since they had last been worn. I took a deep breath and I looked into the polished metal. Gabo blinked back at me, his eyes wide with astonishment. The next moment he had gone, and I turned away, heart pounding, mouth dry. The broken pieces of Dar's walking stick were on Gabo's bed, glowing with their strange light. Picking out the large piece, I wrapped it in my discarded dress. Something like that could come in handy. Lupe's note went in my pocket, her locket around my neck. I'm coming, Lupe. Dar had bolted the shutters in his study. I lit 2 candles which made circles in the dark. Even though it was a rescue mission, I could not waste this chance to map the forgotten territories. Emptying a satchel of books, I began to fill it with his cartography equipment. Ink, quills, paper, a leather pad to mark miles, a compass, dragon tree sap for repairing shoes, and ripped maps, 2 drinking flasks. Then his weapon, bought in Afrique. A flat curved blade serrated at the edges like teeth. Finally, carefully, I took Mars' map of Joya from the wall. I rolled the map into a tight scroll, wrapped it in a piece of soft cloth and nestled it next to the fragment of walking stick. I carried the now heavy satchel back into the main room. Pep was sitting on the bench. Listen, Pep, I said. He rolled on his back, waiting for his tummy to be rubbed. Cats never understand the gravity of a situation. I have to leave you alone for a while, but I'll leave the back door open and plenty of water bowls, and you'll be all right, won't you? My eyes were pricking with tears, but I knew he would be fine. He was a stray until 2 years ago, and was always catching mice and ravens. Seeing the tummy rub was not forthcoming, he yawned and jumped off the table, slinking through the gap in the broken front door. Goodbye, then, I said feebly. I filled my drinking flask and then all the bowls in the kitchen with water and food, and propped open the back door. Miss Lar woke up as the breeze ruffled her feathers and began pecking at the latch. I was about to open it when there was a firm knock that pushed the door further off its hinges. The next knock sent it crashing to the floor. 2 men stood in the doorway. Sorry about that, said one, not sounding very sorry. It was almost like that when we found it. I nodded. I hadn't practiced my boy voice yet. Your mother and son? The other man said kindly. I shook my head. Well, we won't be too much bother, just got to collect any chickens you have. Why? The governor's going on expedition, and the first began. Official governor's business, interrupted the other. Need supplies. An expedition? His girl's gone missing. Lupe. Her name twisted my stomach. The governor knew she was missing. He was going after her. No chickens? I croaked. Miss Lar on cue emitted a piercing squawk. The kinder man gave me an apologetic smile as the other pushed roughly past. Governor Adori's orders. Wait a minute. He frowned at a map-covered walls and table. This the cartographer's house? The one in the Didallo? I nodded. He's my father. Ah. The man shifted as I heard the catch on Miss Lars' coupe slide open. Have you been told? Told what? Your father, he's... Let's go, said the other man as he emerged from the kitchen. Miss Lars looked at me immediately. He's what? I said, heart thumping. We'll be gentle with her, said the kinder man, ignoring my question and taking her softly in his hands. Cook won't be, sneered the other. Hush. But I had stopped listening. I felt numb to it all. What had the guard been going to tell me about Dar? They left me alone in the whispering room, thinking. The expedition would not leave without the chickens. If I beat the chickens back to the governor's house, the expedition would not leave without me. The late afternoon sun danced on the crystals of the governor's basalt mansion, smudging it into a shimmering mirage. One night, not long after Ma died, Dar had taken me and Gabo to the cliffs to sit and watch the moon throw light off the house. There are two kinds of crystals, he told us. One is granite, a light-coloured rock, and like you two, it has a twin, a dark version of itself. Its name is Gabbro. After that, I had called Gabo Gabbro for a while. He hadn't liked it. As I got closer, the satchel slapping my thigh, I saw that even the windows glinted. The governor had had huge sheets of glass made from molten Gomera sand. A room at the front corner of the house was filled with people. Voices drifted across to me through an open window. Two gods stood by the dark wood door. I had not thought this part through. What if no one would let me in? I crept to the open window. We are wasting time here. We need to get after her. It's not a waste. We have to plan this. And how do we guarantee your daughter's safety? Madness. Who knows where she is? I took Lupe's note from my pocket and ripped off the top and bottom so it read, I'm going across the forest to find who killed Carter. Maybe when I get back we can be friends again. Love, Lupe. I peeped inside. There were about a dozen men in governor's blue, crowded around a large, ornately carved table. No one was looking my way. Without stopping to think better of it, I pushed my satchel through the window and tumbled in after it.